The most important time to practice these suggestions I'm going to make is when you are not triggered, when you're not feeling bad. Hi, and welcome everyone. Welcome to Life Support with Odille for changing negative implicit childhood memories using the Remmert Method. So we've created this forum for those who've watched our YouTube videos or read our book and need personal help with using the techniques to get changes, but aren't in a position to do one-to-one sessions at the moment. So if you're new to the Remmert Method, please check the description of this post. And of course, if you'd like to submit a question or you'd like me to take you through the process of changing memories in this forum, check the link in the description of this video for details on that as well. So we have two people on the list for today. The first one is a question that was sent in by Spasihle. Spasihle says, I started an internship as a legal advisor for an insurance company, and I'm thinking of resigning. I have been doing it for 6 months. The workload is overwhelming. And since it's an internship, I'm not getting a salary, but only a stipend, which is not sustainable. Also, there's no confirmation that once the internship is over, I will be absorbed permanently. Therefore, all my hard work might not get rewarded. I work in the liabilities department, and basically we have to decide whether to settle or decline a claim from a third party who is trying to claim from a client's policy following a car accident. I get really rude third parties who do not understand that this is a process, and they get really impatient or really nasty if we decline or apportion the amount they are claiming for. The worst thing about this job is that I feel I cannot give third parties what they want, which is to settle their claim quickly. The workload and compensation also do not motivate me to enjoy work. I really want to resign. However, I live in a country with the highest unemployment, and I feel like my mom and sister will judge me and be disappointed since they know how bad the economy is and how hard it is to find a job in South Africa. However, I am miserable and I feel stuck. Please help. I forgot to include that my ideal job right now would be to work at a cruise ship. However, I am not getting responses from the applications I send. So first of all, well done, Spasihle, for reaching out for help with this. And you've done a great job so far of identifying some of the issues that are keeping you stuck in this kind of experience. So what we're aiming for, and I'll take you through step by step what to do and how to get there. But what we're aiming for is that you feel confident to move forward with changing your circumstances without fear of what others will think and without the fear of not getting another job. So to get to that end result, I always like to start by answering the conscious mind with logic, because we need to get the conscious mind on board before the rest can follow. So, and then we'll move on to addressing the unconscious references. Answering the logic first. We know that every decision we make and how we communicate and what opportunities we happen to notice and what opportunities we miss, and therefore our results, of course, are all determined by how we're feeling, meaning having the prefrontal cortex of the brain where we do our cognitive thinking online, and having the unconscious part of the brain keeping us in alignment with those new unconscious references. So this means that there are 2 steps to getting the end result you want, of getting a job you enjoy and that you are well compensated for. So the first step is doing whatever it takes to get into a feel-good state so that you have the cognitive thinking part of your brain online, so that you're able to notice opportunities you hadn't thought of before, and you're able to come up with solutions you hadn't thought of before, and be able to communicate effectively in ways that you hadn't before, which of course, all of that will affect your applications and your interviews and so on. And the second step is finding and changing the negative childhood memories that are keeping you stuck in fear and repeating the same patterns. So the second piece, that's the first piece of logic, right? The second piece of answering the logic is, yes, absolutely. the unemployment situation to consider. However, there are people working. There are people who have well-paid jobs that they enjoy. So it must be possible. So there are some jobs, right? And whether you get another job or not will depend on your ability to think of or find the opportunities that are available and come up with solutions and ideas and connect with the right people, along with the ability to communicate effectively in applications and in interviews. So although the unemployment rate is beyond your control, you do still have the power to change your experience of it. And then finally, for answering the logic, for the sake of the conscious mind, of course, how your mum and your sister feel about your decisions are based on their own fears and perspectives, not based on objective reality. Just like all of us, each of them is also looking at the world through the filters of their own childhood references. So we want to change the childhood references that the unconscious part of your brain is referring to that are causing those feelings in you of being judged by them and the fear of disappointing them and so on, so that you can feel confident in your decisions and be respectful of their fears without feeling the need to give in to them. So let's get to the steps to take. So step 1, make feeling good your priority. So knowing that that is actually what will get your brain fully online to allow you to make the best decisions, come up with the best solutions, notice opportunities, and know that you'll know what to say to others. So I'm going to give you suggestions of ways to achieve this, but I want to start with explaining that the most important time to practice these suggestions I'm going to make is when you are not triggered, when you're not feeling bad. Now, just like you wouldn't wait until the day of a marathon to start running, because of course your body wouldn't have built up the stamina and the muscles you'd need to be able to run a marathon without consistent running training over a period of months. In the same way, trying to feel good when you're already feeling bad is like turning up on the day to run a marathon without training for it. So here's the schedule, the training schedule. Before you go to bed tonight, do these 3 things. Number 1, set the intention that as soon as you're aware you're awake in the morning, and before you think of anything else, you'll practice the little brain chemistry exercise. And I'll put a link to that in the description of this video for those who need it. Number 2, put something by your bed that you'll see as soon as you wake up that makes you feel good. It can be a photo of something or someone you love, or something that's a particular color that you love, or it can be a note with some words that remind you of something or someone you love or are grateful for, something that you're looking forward to, something that will make you smile and give you a warm feeling. And then number 3, finally, before you go to bed tonight, cue up a favorite song or piece of music to listen to first thing in the morning. Now, all of this is not just to feel good when you wake up. Of course, you will feel good doing it, but that's not the reason. The reason for it is to physically change your neurochemical state so that you bring blood to the prefrontal cortex of your brain, the cognitive thinking part of your brain. So you're going to do that tonight before you go to bed. Then tomorrow morning and every morning following, as soon as you're aware you're awake, immediately do the little brain chemistry exercise. That little brain chemistry exercise takes 1.5 minutes at the most. So it doesn't need to take long. You can take that minute or 1.5 minutes when you wake up to do that. Then look at the item or the note or the photo that you put next to your bed that makes you feel good. And here's the key: allow yourself to feel good as you look at it. So make that intention, consciously and intentionally allow yourself to take that moment to really feel the feelings that you get when you look at that thing. Because we tend to block off the good feelings because we're so focused on the danger. It sometimes takes active allowing. And then number 3, listen to the music that you queued up from the night before. You can listen to it while you're brushing your teeth or waiting for the kettle to boil or any of the other activities you do first thing in the morning. And again, allow yourself to enjoy that music. And as your mind wanders, so for example, to what you don't like about work or what you're worried about, answer that. That's very important. Answer it. Answer it with, yes, that's true, but I can't do anything about that right now in this minute. So right now, what I can do is make sure that I have the cognitive thinking part of my brain online so that I can make the best of the day and notice opportunities I may not have seen otherwise. And then finally, think of at least one thing that you're looking forward to, even if it's just your lunch break or a cup of coffee or watching a favorite show when you get home, or whatever it is. Find at least one thing, no matter how small it is, to look forward to. And again, this is not about the thing itself, and it's not about distracting yourself from the things you're worried about. This is all about brain chemistry, and your brain chemistry affects absolutely everything else. So that's step one. Step two, now we move on to finding and changing the negative implicit childhood memories that are creating this pattern for you. So start by asking yourself, what's the worst case scenario? If you stay where you are in this particular job, what's the worst case scenario about that? And then how does that feel? For example, that feeling of being miserable and stuck, and anything else about this job. And then where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? And remember, it may be a different topic, but it'll be the same feeling. Okay. So make a note of those memories. For people who are new to this, you don't need to go into any details of the memories. You don't have to remember any details. You don't have to write a description. No one else is going to see this. All you need to write is a few words that identify the memory for you so that you know what you're talking about and an approximate age. So for example, granny kitchen, 8 years old, so that you know, oh, that it's that memory. There's never any need to open that door and go into the memory. As you think about resigning, so now let's say you've made the decision to resign and you think about your mum's and your sister's reactions, how does that feel? And then again, where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? Again, remember, it may be a different topic. It may not involve your mum or your sister. It may not. So just notice where your mind goes in your childhood with that feeling and make a note of those memories. And finally, for this detective work part, something you said about your experience at work really stood out to me. And it was this: the worst thing about this job is that I feel I cannot give third parties what they want, which is to settle their claim quickly. That's definitely an unconscious program from childhood. As long as that's running in your brain, it's going to be keeping you in alignment with that feeling, whether it's keeping you stuck in this particular job so that you can continue to experience that feeling, or you get another job that ends up creating that same feeling, or you end up in a relationship that feels like that. Your brain is going to constantly be affecting your decisions and what opportunities and solutions you come up with to make sure to keep you in alignment so that you keep feeling that feeling of, I can't give these people what they want. So ask yourself, that feeling you get where about not being able to give someone what they want, where in your childhood did you feel that same feeling? And again, make a note of those memories. Then change all of the memories you've written down to the opposite, positive and empowering, starting with the earliest memories first and moving forward in order of approximate age. And use stepping stones as well. So I'll put a link in the description of this video to the information on stepping stones for those who need it. And of course, practice those new memories with strong, good feelings until they're established. And finally, moving forward, whenever you think of your job, the challenges in your job and the uncertainty of whether to resign or not, whenever you think of your mother and your sister and the possibility of them judging you and so on, whenever you think of the unemployment rates and anything else you're worried about, immediately play one of those new memories, one of those new childhood memories with all the good feelings. Again, this is not just about feeling better. This is redirecting the unconscious part of your brain to the new references that prove the results you want to experience in your life, so that it starts to change course and starts to keep you in alignment with those new references as well, instead of the old references, in addition to keeping the cognitive thinking part of your brain online. Now, regarding the cruise ship opportunities, the cruise ship jobs that you would like, there are bound to be some opportunities, connections, ideas, and options that you haven't thought of or that you haven't noticed or seen, because the unconscious part of your brain will be filtering out anything that doesn't fit in with your current implicit childhood memories and programming. So having the job that you would love, let's say working on a cruise ship, if you were to get that now, that wouldn't be in alignment with the childhood memories of, I need to be fearful, I need to be stuck, I need this feeling of being stuck, I need to feel that people want something and I can't give it to them. All of that is the GPS coordinates in your childhood keeping you there. So getting a job you love and are well compensated for doesn't fit with that. So your brain is going to deliberately ignore and filter out and affect your decisions and what you're able to even notice or be prepared to do and so on. That's why it's so important to change those memories, because then finding that job, getting that job that you love and are well compensated for, whether it is a cruise ship or something else, is going to be automatic as long as you are making sure that those references are there and then you're redirecting your brain to the new references. All right, so I hope that helps, but let me know if you need any more suggestions or you need clarification on anything, of course. And so next up today is Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
So basically, I had an issue with this guy who I was talking about who's going to Australia yesterday. Yes. He's my friend's friend. They live together. And so because I have to do this exam again, I'm going to her house. So that's where I'll be staying to do the exam. The issue is then I have to see him again. So,
okay.
And I got a response yesterday. Well, we'd been on this conversation for a month and it was all fine. But then yesterday he suddenly comes out with I finally found myself after 2 years or something, something crazy like that. Because he really believes in big self-development work and whatever. And he's just needed to be alone. Mm-hmm. So I'm just letting you know that you need to be alone. And that just set my day just bad. Because I was you hypocrite. You're such a
Interesting.
Hypocrite. Because 2 days, 2 weeks ago, you were so excited, and now you're just I need space and time. I'm literally never going to see you again. And it just made me really, really upset. So I wrote a due justice letter because I realized that my parents are hypocrites too, to my parents, the due justice letter. And I realized that it's because of their reactions too. So their reactions would change, but nothing was consistent. But this is where it was a good find. I'm having issues changing their reactions, and I don't really know how to change hypocrisy. I suppose it's more I don't trust that what they say they'll do.
Right. Yes. Well done. That is a good find. Well spotted. The first question is, what happens when you try to change them? So let's take one at a time. Let's take your mum. So when you try to change those memories of your mum being a hypocrite, what happens as you try to do it? How do you know you can't?
I just feel this panic set in.
Okay.
That I'm gonna suddenly get something's gonna happen suddenly.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And what kind of thing could happen suddenly?
Her mood would just change randomly. You'd just be having a great day, and then suddenly she just starts screaming about something. And because I'm I'm at home with them, that's me all day long. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. There's 2 ways to go here. And I know one of these we've done before in a slightly different context. Let's start with that one. Actually, before I do that, let me ask you, what would solve that for you? So let's say you can make the situation different. What would help you to feel safe, or that you can trust, that you can relax, that you know that if something's going to happen, you'll know about it in time?
It's weird, but probably an email or a notification of some sort.
Yeah, good idea. Very good. So let's create that. So whenever they're going to change mood, they send you an email letting you know. Okay, so you receive an email, I'm going to be screaming in a little while, later today or at 4:00. And then you can make sure that you're out of the house doing something else and let them do the screaming. And then when they're over, they can send you another email. Okay, I'm done with my screaming now. You can come home. And then you come home and they're happy. How would that feel? I'm not sure if
it feels a lot calmer. Yeah.
It feels calmer. Oh, good. And I wasn't sure if it was an internet lag or a hesitation on your side. So that would help. That would help to feel calmer.
Feels a little calmer. Yeah. It's not fully gone, but yeah.
Okay. So that's a start. Now, what if they also had a warning light? If the light is green when they're happy and everything's safe and fine, and then it starts to go yellow when they're starting to wind up to something, they also have a button, and you can press the button that makes it go back to green. So you have control.
Oh, okay.
How would that feel?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's good.
Good. So they got these little warning lights on the head and green. So you've got time. It doesn't go from green to red. It goes green to yellow. And then you can press the button. It makes it go back to green and you're fine. And they're fine.
Yeah.
All right, good. Because what we want to do as much as possible is put control in your hands. There's two pieces. Number one, put the control in your hands. That's the first piece for feeling safe. And then secondly, we move on to where they are always great. So there is no need for that, but you need that control first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So practice the memories of the emails and the warning lights until it feels established and it feels like, yes, this feels good and strong. And then see if you can create memories of they've still got those lights, but they are always green and they are only green and they are only capable of being in that happy state. So it's an upgrade. They get upgraded to green only. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You create that foundation of complete trust. You know you can trust it because there is nothing else.
Right. I still have this like slight thing of what will they do to me? And will I have time to react?
Okay, good. Okay, very good. So now imagine that you have this bubble around you, a protection bubble, and nothing and no one can get through that bubble unless you allow it. How would that feel?
Yeah. I think we tried this before, but it doesn't really hit the spot. Like it doesn't feel safe or as safe as it doesn't conjure up the safety feelings.
Okay. So what do you think is missing? What do you think would help to make that feel safer, or something else that would feel safer?
I think like distance and being away.
Okay. So if they're distance, so there's a distance between you, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So they're just more far away.
Okay, so they're far away. So that's a start. We don't want to leave it there because we need you to feel safe, to be safe, no matter what. So, but this is a stepping stone. So there is that distance. So let's imagine that now. So they're always at a significant enough distance from you that they can't hurt you. They can't touch you. How would that feel?
Yeah, that feels safe.
Good, very good. So keep practicing that until it's really established and you feel, yes, it's safe enough now for me to move to the next step. Okay. And once you think, yes, okay, so I've got that feeling of safety, it feels safe, they're always at a distance, can't be hurt. And once that's the case, check their faces and make sure that at a distance, they're already always in a good mood, they're always happy, they're always loving and kind from that distance. Okay. So you are not going to let them come closer until they are behaving themselves, until they've changed completely. Right. And then once that's the case, once every time you look at their faces and you think of them, you've got that lovely feeling of happiness and joy and, safety and compassion, and they're always supportive and enthusiastic and fun and all of that. Then you can bring them a little closer as it feels, as you feel comfortable with. And again, you've always got control of what that distance is. Does that help?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, good. So how do you feel now about moving forward with that?
Yeah, I feel good. But I'm just thinking like, I might need to repeat the stepping stones for a lot longer. I think that's where I'm missing this.
And that's absolutely fine.
Because I've been struggling with this for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's absolutely fine. You stay on the stepping stones for as long as you need to, because you are the boss of you. This is all within your control and you get to decide when you're going to move to the next stage. So you can stay on those stepping stones for as long as you need to, as long as you want to. And then there will come a time when you think, yeah, okay, I've got that now. And now I can move forward to the next piece. Sound good? Yes. So now let's look at this situation. So when are you going to that house?
This Saturday.
This Saturday. Okay. And how do you feel about it right now as you think of it?
No, I don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there, yeah. Let's take the guy out of the situation for the moment. Let's pretend he's not there. How would you feel about going if he wasn't there?
That would be great.
Great. Okay, good. So the other people or that you're going to see, you're happy to see them and you'll have a nice time.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Let's sort that out now. So as you think of this guy, what meaning is there for you? So what does it mean to you that he said he's doing some self-development and he needs some time and space?
I think I was just very angry yesterday, like over the top anger. because because I just thought it was all going so well,
Yeah.
and now at the end it goes badly,
Right.
as per
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah.
It's because of the emotional availability and whatnot.
And I can completely understand that. And of course, they'll be disappointed.
And I just thought, like, he had 2 months alone just in the past 2 months. Past month he was just all alone. I was like, so what were you doing then? But anyway, I understand people have and then I was like, I understand that he has his own stuff and whatever, and that's okay. He's dealing with it how he wants to deal with it. And I'm happy that he found his happiness and all of that. But then I just think, I don't know, if you can handle a relationship, why did you get into it in the first place?
So what do you think is the worst case scenario? What are you most worried about? What do you have most fear about?
Like him expecting the interaction.
Him expecting the interaction? Yeah. Or what's wrong with that?
Well, I can't just ignore him because I know this person. So I think I always feel like obliged to, but then I don't want to.
So the first thing here is to give yourself permission to not have to do anything you don't want to do. Okay. So give yourself permission. If there's something you don't want to do, you're not going to do it. And that's okay, because you are the boss of you. And other people's expectations are about them. It's about their programs. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So because different people expect different things. We can't please everyone. And those different things are based on their own programs, references, and all of that. Training, conditioning. It starts with giving yourself permission to do what feels good for you and not having to please anybody else or answer to anyone else or anything. So let's pretend that you get to the house and you don't want to engage with him. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? So he's going to want to engage with you. What would that look like?
But I just want to go back to the original question. What does it mean? I think a bit of it's like when somebody doesn't want me or doesn't want to engage with me, then I rebel back and I do the same.
Right.
So I think that's the thing. It's like not being wanted kind of hurts. So then I'm making you feel hurt.
I get that. Yeah. Have you ever been in a position where someone has wanted to be with you and you haven't wanted to be with them?
Yeah. And I feel like in my head, this is karma from that, but it's not.
It's not karma, not at all. No, but it can give you some insight into the meaning of it, right? Which means that when you were in that position, how did you feel?
I mean, it didn't feel great, but I knew that was the right decision.
Right. Okay. How did you hope that the other person would be about it, would feel about it, would behave? You didn't want to be with them, so you told them, or it came up in whatever way. What would have been the ideal scenario in your mind? What were you hoping their response would be?
Well, yeah, to accept that, but also be nice about it, not being evil about it. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Did you have any experiences like that?
Well, yeah. Yeah, he was accepting.
Okay, good. So now we switch it around. So now you've got this situation. If you think that he is feeling the way you felt before, how do you feel, or how do you see it? What meaning is there then?
I understand the situation more, but it still kind of hurts.
Yeah. What I want to get to about the meaning is it can mean he just needs some time. I understand that he's going through some stuff, or it can mean this is just an excuse. He's pretending that he doesn't, he's got something, how that people say, oh, it's not you, it's me, or he's being mean or whatever. So that's what is that meaning there? What do you think he's actually meaning or feeling or is going on?
I think, so the whole thing is, there's no future to this relationship, so it's kind of better to end it here. But I was ready to end it a month ago. And then because I had to go back to Liverpool, that's when I kind of had to message him. I needed the key card for the house from him. And then the conversation kind of started up again.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, I'm very excited to see you again. Like, and so he asked me to stay as long as possible within the time because he's going back home as well. So this is my thing. He kind of asked me to stay. And now he's like, I can't see you. And I'm like, okay.
And what does that mean to you?
That's the hypocrisy thing.
That's the hypocrisy. Okay. And what do you think his motivation is? Or what do you think is driving him driving this decision? What do you think the
So he wants to
reasoning
do
is?
so he wants to do the PhD in Australia. So I
Mhm.
suppose he's in his flow of like applying and writing proposals and stuff. So I think that's
Right.
what it is. But
Right.
also, I think I just need to let him know that I'm not going to get in his way because I'm there for an exam.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I'm not going for fun either.
So that's good. So you choose to focus on what the reason you're going there. And can you give yourself something to look forward to as well while you're there? In other words, catching up with other friends, having a
Yeah.
nice meal with someone.
Yeah, catching up with other friends.
Very good. Good job. So what I suggest you do is start pre-paving it so that before you go, you're already in that feel-good state, and expect the worst case scenario. Make peace with that and see if you can love that worst case scenario so that you're arriving in an empowered state. So you're not arriving in a, I don't know what's going to happen, or I don't want that to happen. So you're arriving in an empowered state and you're shining and strong so that it doesn't matter what happens. And you feel comfortable with saying, oh, you know what, when you said that we weren't going to connect, I made other plans if you don't want to spend time with him, for example.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also make other plans, right?
Yeah.
Make some plans to do with obviously studying, make that your priority, getting prepared for the exam, whatever you need to do in order to make sure you have the best chance with the exam. And then the time that you are not doing that, make plans with other friends, make plans to do things that you enjoy, or just catch up on sleep or whatever, so that you have your time planned. If he wants to get together and you don't want to, you're able to say that. It's also because then in your mind, you have something to do. You are busy. You're not waiting to see if he's going to connect or not. So you're giving yourself something definite to stick to. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Good. And do lots of pre-paving with the superpower.
Okay.
As much as you can, of course, in addition to the new childhood memories with your parents.
Okay.
So how does all of that sound?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Good. And how do you feel now when you think of going there?
I actually got a different insight into it. Like, yeah, I feel better about it. Yeah.
Good. Yay. Good job. All right, sweetheart. Good job. And so enjoy. See how much fun you can have and see how good you can feel. See how good you can be to yourself.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. Have a safe journey there, and we'll see you, I'm sure, when you get back.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you, sweetheart. You're very welcome. All right. Oh, Chris, hello.
You may just be about to finish, but I always love it when you finish a session by saying enjoy. And it's as though we've transformed our problem, our situation, into a vehicle to say, hey, this is live. I love it. Let's do it.
There you go.
Yeah, and always. It's a lovely moment. And you know, I'm lucky enough to be a practitioner. And there's always that lovely moment as we come to the end of a session where everybody says, oh, I feel so much better now. I'm really ready to get on and get this life going. And
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, because it's what it's done for me in my life. And like everybody else, I've still got all my troubles and not so much woes, but there's stuff that happens. But most of the time, I've broken the relationship with all that, because it was really, the more I bought into, well, there's this and there's that, and then there's I've got everything, but there is still, it's the relationship that I still have with the buts, rather than hey, but this is another opportunity to experience more of this great lovely life.
Yay. I'm so glad to hear that, Chris. Thank you for sharing. And yes, so for those who would like to do one-to-one sessions as well, a reminder that Chris is a Remmert Method practitioner certified by us. So you can contact Chris on Facebook. Chris, do you want to share your website address for everybody as well?
Yeah, it's unstoppableu.uk.
There we go. So
one word, .uk.
Yes, unstoppableu.uk. Swing by Chris's website to find out more about working with her as well.
Or on the Facebook page.
Or on Facebook. We highly recommend Chris. She's an amazing practitioner. All right, very good. So thank you, Chris. Thank you for being here today as well. It's always lovely to see you. And And to everyone else, we will see you same time, same place next week. Thank you so much to those who ask questions. We really appreciate it, and it helps everyone else as well. Bye-bye now.